Hi, everybody.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the ranch.
Yep, we're here. I don't know if anybody's here. Oh, look, there is. Miss Emma is here. How are you? I think
What
Tony
up?
was in here earlier. I was just over in Danny Days Ahead, and she is having a live with Scott from Rambling with the Brooms
Mhm.
and Jesse from Lazy Days himself. So they're having like a big, there's a bunch of people over there. So I don't know how many people we're going to get right now because there's a bunch of people over there.
Yikes.
But that's okay because, I mean, they were having a good time. They were like just sitting there eating. I think they're in Louisiana. They were in New Orleans. So they were hanging out in New Orleans. So
Okay.
Anyway, It's just Emma tonight. Hi, Emma. How are you? Are you going to share some space with me?
I'm trying to get you in there. You
That's fine. You're fine.
slam.
You're good. Oh, there's Caleb there too. Oh, Dad, Caleb said, "Hey, Uncle Jason."
See, cool gamer coming up in here. What's
hey,
going
cool
on?
gamer, how are you? Caleb's saying hi to Uncle Jason instead of you.
The party is starting now that they're here.
Yeah.
Oh, grilling and chilling with Moho.
Hello, how are you?
I think they're new. I don't know that I've seen them in here before.
I think I've seen them around in other lives, maybe, but I'm not sure. I can't remember about this live or not. But yeah, I'm trying to see who else is popping in here. I'm looking at my side view over here. So are you so we may not go as long tonight as we normally go. We have our guests coming on first, and then we'll maybe stick around for a little bit afterwards. But Eric had to go to the dentist today, so his mouth is hurting him a little bit.
I will be fine.
Oh, you're gonna be fine?
That's part of life.
Okay. I just know when I went to the dentist in the past year or so, I've usually had enough work done. It's hurting my face a little, hurt my cheeks.
Your cheeks were swollen?
That's what I'm going to say. My cheeks were swollen. Maybe they're still swollen from dental work.
Okay.
I think they're swollen from the pretzels I just ate. That's why there's and from all the Christmas goodies that I ate.
Yeah.
I don't think they're swollen from dental work this time. But no, they were sore before. So anyway.
You had sore cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Sore cheeks.
It just sounds weird.
Well, we should just, since we have everybody in here, everybody's in here kind of, we can always just bring our guests up. I just wanted to wait to see if anybody else came in. Hey, Regina, because I was trying to let people filter in first. And that way, when everybody is filtered in, then we can introduce our guests and that people can see them. Hey, Jason, how are you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not Jason. It's Caleb. He changed his profile and he uses your picture.
And you thought that, okay, that was cool. Thanks.
I did it first and I realized it was literally your picture just now. Oh my God. Caleb, what a dork. And I only knew it was him because it has the wrench over here on the screen.
Because it's literally a picture of me?
Well, yeah, that's true too. But I can see that he has a wrench, so I can tell that.
Did you actually think that was my brother though?
Yeah, that's why I said hi to him at first. And then I realized it was actually Caleb messing with us. That's pretty nice when our son trolls us.
Yeah.
And not actual real trolls.
It keeps us loose.
It keeps me on my toes.
Keeps you on the toes. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, let's get these nice folks.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell Robert's a nice looking guy.
because he's got a beard. Let's welcome him in. Here you go.
Yeah.
Hey. It's Robert and Brooke with the Homemade Haven.
Hello.
How y'all doing?
Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Robert, that's a nice looking beard, friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So really, all of our questions are just going to be geared around beards tonight.
That's not.
That works.
Not
I don't know much, but I know how to grow this, apparently.
There you go. Well, Brooke, do you like the beard?
I do like the beard. Yeah. He used to be in the Marine Corps when we first met. So he was, bare shaved baby face. And then when he got out, he went like full Duck Dynasty. And so after that, it was like, I don't know that his face has seen the light of day since then. It's just been like fluctuating beard lengths, And so now, because that's been what, like 12 years? He's had a beard for a long time.
14 years.
And so I threatened him. I'm like, don't ever shave it off because I can't imagine you without a beard now.
Right?
So
yeah, I'm still trying to get Monica on board with the beards. Mine was longer, maybe not quite as long as yours, or maybe as long, but it doesn't look that long because mine's like really curly and kinky.
His is like very thick.
Yeah.
all the way. Yeah, and it's like really.
That's what I'm saying. It's tight.
No, it's not tight like that.
It sounds weird, but I went and got my hair cut at a new place the other day, and the guy actually took a blow dryer to my beard, and it stretched out like down to my like the middle of my chest. And I was like, man, this thing's long. Like, so your beard might be longer than you think it is if you take a blow dryer to it.
I need to flat iron it at Eric. Next time I start taking a long flat iron.
You know, there's a certain line that I won't cross. One of them is I don't want to spend any amount of time on grooming my hair by any means ever. I just want to go.
Thank you. Yeah, his hair regimen is longer than my hair regimen. So
see, I'm not that committed.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You know, I tried to encourage him to just, you know, I don't hate the beard.
We're making progress.
As much as I heavily disliked the beard before. I don't hate the beard 100%. I'm about a 50% hate. It's just that I don't like it when it gets like super long and completely out of control. Like when it's so out of control that it's like climbing upwards and it's just everywhere. I'm like,
it doesn't do that.
I can't see your face or your like nothing. It's just everywhere. It's like all this. It's like that. And I just can't handle it. I just can't.
She has a wild imagination because none of that is even true.
Yeah, that is. So, okay. So let's see. Miss Denise is in here. Hey, Miss Denise, how are you? And then Lori Osborne's in here. And then it looks like your daughter's here. Or no, you were saying hi to Osborne, your mom?
Lori is my mom. Yep.
Oh, very cool. Okay, good. Oh my gosh, Caleb. Caleb, my son.
This is our oldest son that's now paying me.
Yeah.
You
have to read the poem.
Say, a passing torch comfort, a burning flame, juniper dipped in resin to carry our troubles away. Wow,
Thank you.
That's nice.
Thank you, Caleb. AKA Jason. That's really nice. I literally
can't believe we have to get on to get our kid to start paying us.
Oh my gosh. Well, your daughter's pretty young still, right? I mean, like he's 22. He lives on his own. He's married. He has money to waste now. So
does he?
Apparently. So hi, Miss Lori. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. And hey, Rick from the Old Sweets Farm. Oh my goodness.
So you said that you've been out of the military for 14 years?
14 years, yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
How long did you serve?
5 years.
Okay. Well, thank you for your service. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
That's awesome.
I'd do it all over again. I had a good time, but it was time to get out.
Yeah.
So my dad is huge. At least when I was coming out of high school, he pushed all of me. I have 3 brothers. He pushed all of us to go into the military, and only one went in. He went into the chair force.
You better stop that.
What?
He went to the Air Force.
He's in the Marines. He can appreciate that.
He went to the Air Force as an officer. So we went through all the RTC stuff, and he served in the Air Force for I think you're 11 years, I think.
You're like low key bragging.
11. I am, because he got to be there at the Arlington Cemetery when they laid the wreath one time for one of the big holidays. And
it would have been Memorial Day.
Was it Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Well, it was. I mean, they do the wreath laying, I think, several times a year.
Yeah.
Or don't they lay a wreath every day?
They do a changing of the guard multiple times a day.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So he was actually at one of the wreath layings for one of the holidays. It may have been Memorial Day. He was able to lead the officers going up that way and all the people and stuff. It was awesome. It was really cool. I was really proud of him. So yeah, he said, yeah, it was good. Still my son, not actually my brother-in-law.
Yeah. Now he's an imposter.
Oh my gosh. Such a mess. Hi, Robert Lonis. How are you?
Don't you mean Bobby?
Bobby. So yeah.
So
there you go.
I was on y'all's Facebook earlier and I saw that you guys are from Texas, and I knew that. But then I saw something where the Naked Gardeners had pointed out that you guys went to Lakeview or Lake Point.
Yeah.
Where are you guys from? Where in Texas?
So we actually are in Northeast Texas area. So we do go to Lake Point Church. Yeah, we actually go to Lake Point Church, which is in Rockwell, which is kind of downtown there.
I grew up in Rowlett. I graduated from Rowlett.
Did you really?
Yeah.
So right after we moved here, in 2014, we were here and my in-laws had a house built. And we were fortunate enough to be able to come down here together, and my in-laws had their house built. So they lived with us for an entire year. And in Christmas time, right at Christmas in December of 2015, on Christmas Eve, we were able to take some of their belongings and move it next door to their house so they could wake up Christmas morning in their home. So we were super excited for them. And so they were ecstatic to be able to start decorating their freshly built brand new home. It's like their retirement house that they had custom built. And so on December 26th of 2015, they were in town in Rockwall. And this massive EF4 tornado decided to hit Rowlett. And that's the Naked Gardeners were actually in that. Their house was in that tornado. They were actually not at home at the time. They were living in Rowlett at the time, and their house was hit. My in-laws were in Rockwall, and we're sitting there playing some games, and we see the alert come over the phone, and I'm like, where are your parents? And he's like, I don't know. He calls his mom, and his mom's like, yeah, we're just heading home from town. It's a little stormy out. He was like, Mom, there's literally a tornado across the bridge, across Ray Hubbard. And it had just basically come across Ray Hubbard, and they were coming down from Rockwall, and it was just craziness. So we live fairly close to Rowlett in that area. So yeah, that's really, what a small world that you live, right? You live there, you graduated.
My whole family still lives in Rowlett. My grandparents, my brothers and sisters, they didn't go far. When they moved out of the house, they went like a mile down the road.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Well, yeah, we do. We go over there to, that's where we go right now, Lake Point. So we kind of live further off from there. We kind of live in the little trifecta of area between Greenville and Kaufman County and Hunt County and Rockwall County.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Hey,
yeah, we could probably off camera, we could tell you a little bit more.
We can tell you exactly where we lived off camera.
Yeah.
I got you.
But yeah, it's kind of neat to, know people. And so there you go. This is Alex and family. Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah, we want to say hi to DJ Moss.
And hey, Nancy from Our Treasured Home. That's so cool. Yes, Jason, or AKA Caleb. Yes, Mom, Granddad did not respect the power of tornadoes. After that, we had to make sure they had a weather app on their phone because they weren't as familiar with living in Tornado Alley, because we are from Maryland originally. We live here in Texas, but we moved here in 2014. And up until then, we lived our entire life in Maryland. And
not used to it. That's the same for us because we're on the eastern coast of North Carolina now. So, I mean, it's very rare when we have tornadoes come through here. Now, hurricanes are a different story, but you usually have a little time to prepare for those. And, but we have had, a couple tornadoes here and there, but it's kind of a different atmosphere here.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say my mom has a house down in South Carolina. And so we've been visiting her the past couple of years, and I love the Carolinas.
Yeah.
I've already told Ann Dale, one of the other ladies, that as soon as she lives in like the Wilmington area, and honestly, I cannot wait to go see her next year. Or later this year, I'm going to go visit her when I go visit my mom in Florence. I'm going to go a little north and go visit her in North Carolina.
Nice. You'll like it. Wilmington's nice. We're about 40 minutes from Wilmington.
That's cool.
And so it's a nice little city. It's not quite, well, maybe comparable to Rowlett as far as
definitely.
Being, I guess, growing up and the population and everything. But yeah.
Let's see. Hey, Mountain Grandma Tammy, how are you? We hear you on the tornadoes being from Arizona and now in Missouri. Those are a new worry for us. Wait, are you in Missouri now, Tammy?
I didn't know that.
How did I not know that? Hey, Little Ridge Farm, how are you, Mr. Mark? Yeah, it's in Missouri. I know they get quite a bit now too. So you guys are in Carolina. Oh, sorry, go ahead and flip it. So you guys are in the Carolinas, and so were you from there, Brooke, too? You said no.
Yeah. I'm originally from here. So he was stationed here on the Marine Corps base, and that's how we met. And I kept him here. So
well, there you go.
This is now home for both of us.
That's cool.
She just kept you there, huh?
Lucky me, right?
So do you like, I mean, so you're there. Is all your family there, Brooke?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
My entire family is local to this area. So
that's cool.
So what I'm hearing here, Robert, is you like her family more than your own.
Stop that. I actually saw that you guys got to go. I saw her mom.
If I could take her family to Texas, we'd be on the road tomorrow.
So you just gotta lure them little by little. See, that's what'll happen. So we moved down here in 2014, and then his parents came right away, and then my sister came about 3 or 4 months later, and then my dad just moved down here last year. So I'm like, just little by little, people are just come on down, my side, his side, everybody's kind of just merging together.
Yeah.
So I can take that. I can take that for sure. Well, so with what you have on your farm, your ranch, tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah. So we actually just bought this property that we're on. I guess it's been a little over 2 years now, somewhere around 2 years mark. And we bought it as wooded property. So it was completely wooded, about 32 acres. And we decided to build a home, and we've cleared about 4 to 5 of the acres. And that's kind of what we're working as our homestead. And then the back portion is all for hunting and, maybe expanding later if we need to. But as of right now, it's just wooded. And so on our 4 to 5 acres, we have been raising a couple animals. We've actually only been in our house for about 6 months. So the building process during COVID was a very long and tedious process.
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah.
Lots of delays, lots of, it was a mess for a while.
Cost increases.
Yes. Yeah. Thankfully, we kind of we were riding the waves a little bit, like with the whole wood price increase and everything.
Yeah, we got lucky when we sat down to start the process. Wood was at its peak, and what we lucked out is by the time it came around to ordering like the lumber for the house, it had taken a dip and saved us quite a bit of money, and we were able to kind of put that in other places. So
yeah.
But yeah, we definitely hit the cost increase. Like,
wow,
we probably built at the absolute worst time to build.
Yeah, probably.
The way I look at it is 5 years. I mean, I don't regret it now, but definitely 10 years from now, I'm not going to look back and go, man, I wish I would have built a year later or a year before. Like, no, everything worked out exactly how it's supposed to. So
yeah.
Everything definitely happens for a reason. Now, so you have those acres cleared. I know you guys have pigs. I haven't seen if you did. I should check, but I'm going to check. But I saw one of your videos where you were talking about rotating the pigs, and I didn't see if you got your sturdier fencing up or your bigger fencing up. Now, are you giving your pigs some of that wooded area? Because I know I've seen so many people give their pigs wooded pasture lands that they graze on. There's a couple people that I follow on Instagram, and I love what they do where they have a smaller section that's kind of open, and then they've wired off an area in the wooded area, and they just have all that area for the pigs to kind of root around and dig up and kind of live. And then they have a nice cleared section as well where they feed them, and they have a little bit of a shelter area, but they have all the woods to kind of be wild and free. So I didn't know if that's kind of what you were going for, or.
That's exactly what we did. And since that video that you saw, we have put them into the woods. So
Did you do a video on it yet?
Do what?
Did you do a video yet?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it just came out last week. But
okay, I missed it then.
The wood line, it's exactly like what you were talking about. We're actually going to set up 4 paddocks all the way down. Okay. And it's about like a 200-foot span down the woods. And so we have the first paddock done, and that's where they're at right now. And we have all the material to finish the other 3, and the woods are already cleared to put it. So it's, another day or 2 worth of work of putting up fencing or whatever. But we've already moved them into the first paddock, and they love it.
Yeah.
They absolutely go crazy in there. So
they were a little hesitant at first.
Yeah, it was new.
They didn't really go into the woods and explore for a few days.
Yeah.
But now, like, half the time you go out there during the day and you're like, oh, shoot, where are the pigs at? And then you call them and they come running up to the front. And so.
Yeah.
That's cool. I feel like that's really such a natural, really awesome way to live. I mean, if we had woods on our property, that's where I would put them. I would give them half the woods or at least a chunk of the woods, because it's just such a naturally awesome place for pigs and animals to graze and do their thing. I don't think it's necessarily my favorite place to put cows. I wouldn't do that with cattle just because I feel like there's too many things they could kind of injure themselves. Cows would somehow hurt themselves. I don't know. But I can see like that would be such a cool place for the pigs to be. Ours aren't on concrete. Ours are just in a bunch of, dirt and stuff. So it's just, sometimes it feels unnatural to have them in pens, obviously. And so I like to let them free range if I can and kind of graze a little bit, but it's all flat and there's really not a lot of extra around there. So, but it's really cool to know that they've got that land that they can kind of do. So that's kind of neat. Now, your plans for your pigs? What are your plans for your pigs?
So
go ahead.
Well, as of right now, we have a female and a barrow, which is, a neutered male. And so the plan was to keep her as a breeder. We got her registered, and she's, full-blooded Berkshire. And so we figured that we'll take the barrow and put him in the freezer in the spring whenever it comes time to breed her, and get other babies going, So we actually just confirmed with our breeder that we have a registered boar. He's a baby, but we'll be bringing him on the property in the next couple of weeks. So that's the plan, is that once the boar is big enough and the female is ready, then everybody will be, on the same page for breeding. And then our little barrow guy won't be needed anymore. So then he'll feed us. And then from there, we'll keep the boar and the female on the property and continue to breed each year. So that's the plan.
That's a good plan. Because I know it takes time. So we're in the process, I think, of revamping. Once we have our next litter, we'll be in the process of revamping our pig production. We've got one that we're raising now. He'll go sometime at the end of the year. I actually need to call and make an appointment for him. And the sow and boar we have now are just getting older, and we need to really consider what we're going to do. So I think we're going to keep one of her newest babies. Once she drops her litter, we'll probably keep one or two of hers and have one as a breeder, and then try to go to an outside source and get a new boar, because we want them to kind of grow up together so that they will be ready to breed together. But we also need to have meat ready, because our family will go through quite a bit of pork. It was a lady today asked my daughter if we sold. She's like, would you sell pork, like bacon and stuff? And my daughter was like, yeah, we do. But she's like, I don't think we really sell bacon. So we sell pork, just not bacon. Because you don't get that much bacon from one pig. And when it comes to our family, bacon is highly coveted. Yeah. So if I wanted to grow enough bacon that our family would eat, like if we wanted to eat bacon as much as we wanted to let ourselves eat bacon, I would probably have to grow at least 6 pigs a year just for the bacon. Because we just had our beautiful red wattle cross pig, Peter the pig, and he was my bottle baby that became this massive pig, and he hung at 320. Wow. And so 320 pounds for a bottle pig that shouldn't have been alive, that almost died. I only got 30 pounds of bacon off of him, if that. I know. I was like, wait, I think I got like 26 pounds of bacon. And I was like, 26 pounds of bacon, that's not going to last us half a year. Right. So bacon is highly coveted in this house.
It goes quickly. It goes quickly. And really with one pig per year, like that's kind of what we were thinking as far as like our consumption for our family. But that means that, if you go with like chops and like, bacon and certain cuts, then you miss out on a whole lot of other cuts. And it's like, wait a second, that means that we don't have, ham, or we don't have this or that, so you really have to kind of pick and choose if you're only doing one pig per year, so we might eventually get to like a 2 pig per year and just have a lot of sausage, so.
Well, you could always do, a thought is you could always do 2 pigs a year and then sell half a pig. Right. And, regulation wise, the great thing is that even if you're not allowed to sell from your butcher, like let's just say it's not inspected, you're not allowed to sell where you're at. You can always sell the pig live. And so what you do is you say, I'm selling half I'm selling half a hog and the price is standard. It's this. And then you pay this much per pound on the cuts. And then I bring you the cuts. And that's the best part is you can do it like that. And then you can kind of get the best of both worlds. That's why we sell our pork and our beef as much as we can in boxes of pork or boxes of beef, because then I can choose what I want to keep, because first and foremost, it's about my family and feeding it first.
Absolutely.
I love doing this and being able to help other people and give good quality meat and for a really good price. But I want the best for my people first. And that's what we're going to get. And so when I have 2 cows going in next month, and you better believe that I'm taking exactly what I want, that I know is going to feed my family for a certain amount of time. And then everything else I can sell. But if I don't want to sell my steaks, I'm not selling my steaks.
Right.
But I've learned the hard way too, because like with our pig that we just had done, I had enough sausage in there, but I really wanted to make sure I had some other cuts that we eat the most. And Eric wanted ribs this time, which we hadn't had in like 3 hogs, which would be basically a year and a half almost, or a year or so. Was a year. It had been about a year since we had ribs from our own pigs. And so he was like, I want ribs this time. So I sacrificed some of the stuff that I would normally get. I did, but it's okay because we had some left over from the last one, is what I'm saying. So you're right. You have to kind of sacrifice sometimes.
Wait, so you only let me have them because you had more out there?
No, I just knew that the ribs would be worth it.
And I even gave her a chance to fix it up, because she could have been like, no, because I love you that much, I wanted to make sure you had it.
I knew that he wanted to play around with the smoker, and he's been getting really good with the smoker. So like right now I'm thinking too, I've got 2 cattle that's going in February, and we always get their briskets, but we've done with brisket, but I've sold a few before. And this year I'm like, this coming February, I'm not selling any of those briskets. Those briskets will not be included in my beef boxes or specialty boxes. I'm not offering that because I want to be able to eat that. It was really nice to be able to pull a small brisket out as a family a couple weeks ago and have him smoke it and have enough to feed everybody. So it was really good. I was like, no,
so nice.
We're not selling brisket this time. So beyond the pigs, what else do you guys raise on your? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You have a question. Go ahead.
Jeez, am I allowed to talk tonight?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Very good. So about the beard.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm kidding. So how many pigs do you have right now?
Holding.
Yeah, see, that's what I need right there.
She has 2. They have a girl and a boy.
Oh, you said that. Okay. Yeah. And you said they're Berkshire?
Berkshire. Yes. Yep. Okay. So in the next, I guess 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have a third. Yeah.
Is that a Berkshire as well?
Yep. He is, yeah, and he'll be registered as well. So just in case we do want to sell live pigs, you know what I mean, we can bring a little bit extra. So we'll see.
That may help you with the what is that? The 4-H or the
the FFA 4-H. Yeah. They're fantastic. We usually try to sell some to them, even because ours aren't registered right now. Ours are mixed. So we have a Tamworth and a Red Wattle, and so they're pure, but they're mixed. So there's no registration there. But it's always been fun to watch how just the gorgeous coloring and stuff. And so you can still do. I think there's still a category for that. Where they're not registered or whatever. And so we've been able to sell for some FFA kids, which has been really cool to see over the years. So
how did you settle on the Berkshire?
We went to HOA conference in October, and I sat through one of the classes there. And then afterwards I talked to Pork Rind about it and just got his opinion. Like, what do you think? And he threw out a few names. Is a pretty quick conversation, and that was one of the names that just stuck in my head. And so when I got back home, I just started researching pretty much that pig, and I had bought a book and gravitated towards that pig.
Well, they're supposed to be like I'm probably gonna mispronounce it, but like the Wagyu beef of pork, I guess. With their marbling, they're supposed to have a lot of good marbling to them, and they're an extra long pig, and they're right on the line of being like a lard pig and a pork pig. So they're like, I guess they have a good combination of both. So
and doing research, like they're hardy, their temperament is good.
Yeah.
They pack weight on well, like they're what is it, consumption ratio or what, I forget what it's called, but
they say like 6 to 8 months to like processing weight. So I mean, they grow pretty quick.
Yeah, they grow out fast, and their moms, the sows are good moms to the litters. So there's just a lot of things that I read that were positive.
Well, and honestly, like we've never had pigs before, and it was like eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and like they kind of had, they had a lot of good attributes, and it was like, all right, we'll go with that one. Robert was like, I kind of like the way Berkshire sounds, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, sometimes it's about what you like to look at too. So if that's something, we had a Hampshire that we started off with, and she was super pretty, and we just loved her to death. She was the sweetest little thing, and then we just kind of went, different ways, and then I found I knew I needed a breeding pair, and I found a boar and a sow, and the lady was like, they're proven, we got to get rid of them, I'll make you a great deal. And I'm like, give me your address, I'll be right over. And they were already proven, and they had already had some great looking babies. And so I'm like, yeah, I definitely don't want to have to deal with, because we had bought pure Durocs. They were registered. They had been show pigs. We were super excited to get this boar in here and this sow, and they were going to be, they were like buddies already. And no sooner did we get them here, the boar, I think about 4 months after we got him here, he didn't get a chance to breed anybody, because he ended up having like arthritis in his hips.
Oh, no.
Because when you have, a lot of times when you have grow outs that from 4-H and FFA, the show pigs, they basically just feed, and they keep them pretty, they walk them, they do that. But they put so much weight on them in such a quick fashion that their bodies can't always handle that. And so the vet was like, hey, this is pretty typical of what happens with show pigs. And that's why they go to market, not necessarily go for breeding. And I'm like, cool, we didn't know that. We just paid a lot of money for these. And because we were excited, they were registered Durocs. We thought we were going to do something big with our breeding program. And they were like, never mind. So, yeah.
Well, part of the problem is too, that the vet mentioned, was that in the old days, when you had a lot of pigs that you would pasture raise them, as they were being grown out, you could see which ones had good body styles, the ones that had good frames. And the problem is now is most of the pigs that are being bred are just really for a quick consumption. So they're being fed out so quick that you can't pick the best of the best, so to speak.
Right.
Because they're only around, like you were saying, you feed them out for 6 to 8 months, and before you know it, there's a problem. So if you're, as she's saying, if you're getting them from a show, FFA, or what is it?
Like show pigs, right? FFA, 4-H. Sometimes you don't know that they have problems.
Yeah, because you can get them, and they're not even a year old yet.
Yeah, and both of these they were over a year, but they had been shown, and then they were put on pasture, and they were just on soft ground, and everything's fine, and they hadn't been there real long. And so we were like, yeah, let's do this. They're going to be well behaved. And they were super sweet and very well behaved. And yeah, in the end, it didn't work for us. The girl had one litter, and she was a sweetheart. We had to put the boy down. And we were thankfully able to get him through a couple really rough days. And then we were able to eat him, consume him for meat. And then we were able to, for the girl, she had one litter, and her first litter, she basically prolapsed. And then so she had a second litter that she had extremely premature. And we decided at that point, we can't let her get pregnant. She got pregnant by accident the second time, by accident completely. And the second time I was like, she's going to die. I don't want that to happen to her. I mean, in the end, we ended up putting her down, but we did it when we knew point, because we had to save her from being.
It was controlled.
It was a very controlled put down. It was like, we weren't going to have her go through that and die in the process of whatever. Yeah. So needless to say, it was definitely an adventure. So when I saw these two proven boar and sow, I was like, sign me up.
Right.
And they have been the most amazing couple. I mean, they really are so good. And I didn't have to do all the thinking, like you were talking about with like body style and meat ratio. I had to do very little thinking. The lady was like, yeah, they give you great bacon and they give you great ham. And I'm like, sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I was like, the Tamworth gives me the hams and the shoulders and all the big roasts. And then that red wattle has that long, lean belly. I was like, sounds good to me. Sign me up. I'll take them. So yeah, we went up there and picked them up, and we've been using them to breed for, I think, almost 5 years now. So yeah.
How big do those pigs get? Because I was surprised at how large a pig can get.
Well, we have a video on one where Eric was comparing. Yeah, Eric's carrying his firearm into the pig pen with our one boar. We have a video on that one, but our boar is probably,
I would say the boar's probably about 500 pounds.
Yeah, they're massive.
Wow.
And yeah, so
the girl we had before him, the one we were trying to protect him from, was about 700 when we got her, and she had lost a little bit of weight, and he was going after our other girl that we had at the time, and she started having like seizure-like convulsions. And so the whole video was about her, and it was pretty rough, but he was a big boy. He is a big boy. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He's very big, very muscular. I mean, that's a lot of respect there for the pigs. But one thing I would suggest, one lesson that we're learning is about rotation, knowing when it's time to get rid of the old and bring in the new.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, we've learned the lesson. We're learning the lesson kind of hard right now because it impacted our rabbitry first, and none of our rabbits were producing the way they would, which, that's a little less of a hit. But when you're talking about bigger animals, or it takes longer, like cows and pigs and things like that, to get them on the ground, to raise them up, to be ready to produce, we're kind of stuck behind the 8 ball, which is why we're trying to get the next pair that we want. But that's the hard part too, is when you have new breeders, if they're not proven, going back to, and I see this a lot with our cows. We have a couple females that we've kind of paired away from because they did not get pregnant when they should. Instead of dropping a calf every year, they're dropping a calf like every 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those are the ones, and I actually, a family friend of ours that we work with, I gave them one of the calves, and I gave them the option of who they wanted, and I told them all about their mom. And he actually chose the calf from the mama that would only drop a calf every other year. And would you know that the baby has done the same thing?
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's the thing, is that's the hard part. And that's what always scares me in the back of my mind, of changing out bulls, changing out boars, the mamas, because you just don't know if they're going to be able to produce.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, only time will tell with that kind of thing. It's not like,
there's no guarantee with it.
Right.
Right. Well, but if you're raising food to put in your freezer, if you go one season without having that cow or pig or whatever it is to put in that freezer,
right,
you're stuck behind, and you're kind of going back to what you did before, which is what you worked so hard to get away from, of having to go to the grocery store or whatever.
And after all that time and money invested, it's kind of that's disheartening.
It's a hit. Yeah, sometimes it's a hit. Look at that. Yeah.
And I guess how many are you content staying with your 3 as the third one comes along, or are you looking to?
They're going to use the one that's a barrow as meat, right?
I know the one for the meat, but I'm saying that you have the 3, and then when you start having litters, are you looking to expand your herd of pigs?
We're going to kind of see when the time comes. Yeah, we might. I don't know about the first litter keeping one. We'll see how our female does with them. Because I know, like, in the back of my mind, like you mentioned, we do need to consider having someone to replace her later on, but I don't know if that needs to be in our first litter because she's still young. I guess we'll just see how she handles pregnancy and being a mom. And again, too, like, we're brand new to pigs. As of right now, we're still kind of in that honeymoon phase, like we've had them since October, I think, or November. Yeah. So, there have been some days where I'm like, I don't know that I want pigs forever, but that's also while we were rotating them through pasture. So we're having to move everything. And,
I was going to say, we were moving them pretty much a lot, weren't you?
Yeah.
Every 3 to 5 days, really.
Yeah. It started off like once a week. And then the bigger they got, it was like less and less days, that they could stay on a certain patch. And, I mean, now that they're in the woods, they've been there over a week now. And it's like really only the strip that's cleared is obviously rooted up and getting a little bit muddy. But the rest of it is like, it looks untouched, and there's not much of a smell. So I'm thinking that they'll be a little bit more tolerable over there with more space. And we'll see. We'll give them some more time to see if it's something that we definitely want to keep forever, you know? So
yeah. See, and the other part for me, that because we bought these pigs at full size, it's hard for me to go find somebody that has the same size pig that my boar can mount. As she was saying, the one that was having the convulsions, she was 700 pounds when we got her. So we put her on like a mean diet when she first got here, but she was having a hard time holding up the weight of him.
Yeah.
Because he's so big. And so, we can't just go get, it would have
we just can't go get we can't just go pick up a sow. That's why we're going to have to raise them together and do it that way. So I think that's something we've learned along the way.
But that's a difference too, because we, as Monica said, we don't have the land for it, but it sounds like maybe you do, to be able to kind of play with some different ideas. That's kind of what I'm just saying, just to throw it out there.
Yeah. So when you said that you sell some of your meat, are you guys going to like farmers markets or, oh, hey Dad. How are you guys selling your meats? Doing like CSA boxes, or what is that?
So I have this much time to do as much as I would love. Like I have such a heart to do more things. Like I want to be like CSA. I can do this. I can join these groups. They have this gorgeous like Rockwall Farmers Market. I could go out to I can go to Terrell. I can go all these places. Farmers Market it up. I've got the stamp on our stuff. We can sell our meat. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. Yeah. So basically ours is word of mouth and social media. And I have boxes that I sell. And I say, here's the prices. Here's the box. Come pick it up. Or I meet you. Like I have a friend. The funny thing is we have a lady that I know from Instagram, Nikki over at 5 Dog Farm. Her friend. So I've been on a podcast. Where's Rich? He needs to mark his bingo card. So I'm on a podcast with a few other homesteaders. And we had this lady, Nikki from 5 Dog Farm. She's over on Instagram. We had her on our podcast. And when her friend, who happens to live in Farmersville, I think is where Jan lives, Farmersville area, heard that I sold beef and pork on the podcast when she was listening to her friend, Nikki, who's all the way in Tennessee, I believe. And she says, oh my goodness, that lady's local. And Nikki said, yeah, you need to contact Monica. She's pretty local to you. Now we're still, good job, Rich. Well done. Well, she's not that close, but she's close enough that she said, I'd love to buy some meat from you. What do you have available? And so we actually sold, it's been a while since we sold quarter or half cows. And just last year we sold a quarter of a cow to her. And she was so excited to be able to have that opportunity to buy meat to put in her freezer. And so we met over in the parking lot in Rockwall, and I gave her meat like I was some kind of drug dealer. And it was, but like, that's kind of the way we've been doing it. I just, I've been selling it like that. We sell our animals the most we can. We sell our pigs. When we have our big litters, our red wattle will put down between 12 and 14 each litter. And most of the time she has at least one stillborn. And if at least 10 at the minimum make it, I'm happy. She's never lost more than just a few. Usually she loses 1 or 2 in the process. By day 3, she's probably accidentally laid on one, or one has gotten trampled on somehow because she has such big litters. Right. And so if I can leave with 10, that's fantastic. I save 2 or 3 for our family, and then another 1 or 2 for my friend. She always buys some from us. And then after that, I have a wait list for mine. And what I do is every time I sell, whether you're selling live animals or beef boxes or pork boxes, keep a list, because in 6 months, those people are going to need more meat, the same as you and I. And so I've been able to call them and say, I send a quick text, hey there, I've got pigs getting ready to hit the ground. Do you want on the wait list? Right now, I don't even have pigs on the ground yet. They're not supposed to be here for another 6 weeks or so. Hopefully, Lord willing, she's pregnant and she's going to put them on the ground in 6 weeks. And if she does, I have I think I have 5 pigs sold already.
Wow.
For the litter that's not even on the ground. And that's been my goal this whole time, is to have the animals sold before they're here. I have a lady that contacted me today and said, or talked to my daughter today and said, I'd like a beef box. And I'm like, this is fantastic, because I have 2 cows and I want to sell at least half of one of them. Yeah. So if I can sell a few beef boxes, that's going to cover the cost of my processing. And if I don't have to pay a single penny for my animals to get processed, that means that all the meat I get in return, was just for the hay we put into them in their lifetime and, you know, some of the costs of their raising them. But that's kind of my goal. So as much as I would love to do the CSA and all that, like I love watching like my friends, the Naked Gardeners, they do like all these things and they have all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, I love that you guys are doing this. But I'm like, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, it's a full-time job just keeping up with the homestead on its own.
And your kid, you know, you have a kid and like you homeschool, right?
Yeah.
So homeschooling and gardening and like today the kids, I had this big plan to finish up some work that I wanted to do. And the minute I went to go, I said, okay, guys, get your school books. We're going to work on our Viking stuff. We're going to do this. And then all of a sudden the boys were like, we're going outside and play football, Mom. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. I don't care. And so I just let all 5 boys run outside and play football for an hour. And it was like, I don't care. Just go. And so I made my garden plan. I worked on some meal prep. I did some things that I needed to do to get my brain dumped. And it was really nice.
Yeah.
That's part of the fact that I just like, if I had to do other things with the farm, like if I got myself so involved in other things, I wouldn't have time to do some of those simple things that just sometimes don't always feel very simple.
Yeah. Understood. I think for us, like when we do have a litter of pigs, it's going to be harder for us to sell the live pigs. I think there's so many people in our area that would rather just buy the meat. So I can kind of foresee us having to raise most of the pigs, you know what I mean, until processing weight. And then here in North Carolina, you know, we're allowed to take them to the processor and then the customer can pick them up from the processor. And that kind of keeps us from having to go through any kind of, you know, rigmarole. But I'm imagining, you know, 10 to 12 250-pound pigs like all out there. I'm like, oh my God, that's so much more fencing that we're gonna have to put up.
Well, the other thing is, have you ever castrated anything before?
We have not.
Oh.
Yeah, we have not.
We have a great video on that.
I do. I've seen some videos and I feel like we could probably handle it, but we have not.
By we. This is we right here.
Yeah, we can probably handle it.
That castration with pigs is by far a 2-person job.
So he actually holds the pigs because I could not hold them physically in place. So I'm the one that does the cutting here. I walk around with a little straight razor and I'm like, let's go.
It's better that way because she's got more of a steady hand. Mine would be like a zag.
Yeah. No, none of the guys yet here have castrated an animal. I am the only one that has castrated, and I've done a lot of castrating.
Robert can understand that, okay? Because I was feeling bad for the little guy.
Right. No, the thought of it, when we picked up our barrow, I was talking to the breeder. She had asked a question about castrating. He was like, he's country, good dude. He's just straight from the country. He's like, yeah, you just hold them up and squeeze them. You just cut them open, pop them out. It's no big deal. You let them go, and they're fine.
Yep.
Like, that doesn't sound...
It doesn't sound fine.
It actually is completely fine as long as you do it at the right time. Say, I'm always super nervous. Like I have to hype myself up because I am so nervous doing it. I get all nervous. And the day I know we're doing it, I'm like, I'm going to kill one. I know I'm going to kill one. I'm going to kill one. I'm literally one is going to die by my hand today. Like it gets.
Yeah.
And the minute I get started, Eric's like, you're fine. You've cut so many of these right now. You're fine. You better stop right now. I already addressed that. But hey, Heath, how are you doing? Yeah, needless to say, it is not hard. And I will say I would rather cut than hold. Yeah. Because if something happens and their leg slips out and I make a mistake because the leg came out, I can at least blame him. It's not my steady hand that didn't do it right. Yeah. But so far, he's strong enough to hold him up because even a 3-week-old, which is when I usually do it between 2 and I try to do it between 2 and 4 weeks. 3 weeks has kind of been my sweet spot, I feel like, because they're big enough I can get a hold of them.
Right.
And they're still nursing, so they can go run to their mom and be mad at me for a minute. But it's just 3 weeks is a good age, but they're big enough at 3 weeks that I'm not holding them tight enough to feel comfortable and confident that if they freak out, I'm going to hold them in place. So
they're strong. Oh my
He does a really good job. My son and him. They've been my holders.
It's a good workout. I mean, the key is have a good set of ear protection on so you don't hear them squealing. and just encourage the wife while she's cutting. But I want to tell you, every time she goes to cut, I'm feeling it, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
So is it your screaming or the pig screaming that you have to wear the?
A little bit of both.
The pig is screaming, and I'm sympathetic and empathetic, so I have tears flying. Like, it'll be all right, buddy.
I feel no feelings I feel no feelings except for nervousness. I'm just sheerly I'm like, oh, I gotta be still, calm down, because I'm always so afraid that I'm gonna like hurt them in some way, and then I realize that I'm already hurting them. So it just keeps going with just go with it and get done.
Get it done.
It's not too bad, actually. Once they're done, the worst part is you holding them still. That's actually what they're the most mad about, I think, really. I mean, I've watched animals. Yeah, I've watched animals be ear tagged and branded, and usually it's just they're ticked off that you've got them in a spot.
Yeah.
They're just angry that you've got, like, watching them. I mean, ear tagging a cow is like horrific sometimes because they're squealing around. I'm like, don't do it. And then they do it, and you're like, okay, now they're fine. It doesn't really hurt. It's just they're mad at you because you're holding them.
So I was going to say, you
cannot ban pig nuts.
You can't actually, and the reason why, for people who don't know, I know Troy knows this, but it's almost like the testicle is on the back of their thigh, and that's it's not like down the bottom. They just cut it out.
They're just up in there a little bit.
No. They don't hang down between their legs. They do not.
They're just tucked up in there.
Are you telling with Major? His
okay, you're right. It's down. I guess you're saying on their thigh, and I'm thinking thigh is here, and it's like down here.
Like
it's
here.
Here's their hip.
There you go.
If this is their booty cheeks, it's like one is here, one is here.
Yeah.
It's not underneath.
Yeah, they don't really hang. They just kind of like stuck on.
Yeah. So that's why. So what I do is I put them in my lap, and I basically take their back legs and put them to their chin, so that she can correctly slice.
Yes.
So
poor Connor's curiosity. Hey, Connor, he just walked into a whole mess of stuff. Connor the teenager just walked into this. He's like, I don't even know how this happened. What did I just walk into?
So Lori has a question for you all. She wants to know how you guys met.
That's her mom.
Oh.
So we met them on the gingerbread contest.
Yeah. So we did another live a couple weeks ago before Christmas, right? And so we met that way, and then figured out that they live within just several miles of Robert's family. So
cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
So if your people ever need meat, Robert, you let them know.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
They'd all be down for that. My dad, particularly.
Yeah, 100% grass-fed beef, and then we farm raised pork. I give my pigs, scraps and stuff, but I don't give them organic feed. I ain't fancy.
Oh right, yeah.
We give them all stock. I do ferment it as much as we can. We haven't been fermenting lately because it's been weird weather, but we do ferment it, and when it's warm enough, we fermented all that. So yeah. Get the phrase. Poor Connor.
we definitely. I mean, look. So we have a dry erase or a chalkboard that's in our kitchen, and so usually on the weekend or right before the weekend, I'll just make a list of everything we need to do. And nut cutting has definitely made the list several times. So when people walk in and they look at the board and they see like put hay out for cows, clean the stalls, and then nut cutting, and they're like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Farmer talk.
Yeah.
Well, we've gone back and forth about this before. One of the ways that you know that you're a true farmer is when you start sending like body images of different animals on the ranch of like their hind end or their teeth or whatever, it's like
That's what my daughter just said the other day. She's like, remember that time you had all those pictures of the sheep's butt on your phone? I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I felt like a real farmer the first time I had, there's a guy that we know that we were doing meat birds, and we had purchased a bunch of meat birds from him. And it was late one night. He's a night owl. And so I knew that if I needed any questions about, any of the animals that we were raising, I could reach out to him at night, and like 11:30 would be fine. And so I was texting him one night, and I want to say it was like midnight. And he said, good job, Rich. it was like midnight, and I texted this guy. I'm like, hey, Jason, what do you think about this? Do you think this pig could be in heat? Because we were talking about something else. He's like, yeah, let me see a picture. And I was like, right here. And I'm sending him a picture of a pig vulva because he was into pigs too. He's like, yeah, no, it's looking good. And I said, I should probably have Eric send these pictures to you. This is like obscene. And he just laughed so hard. He's like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, it's fine. Eric knows that we know you, that you're actually like a guy that's okay with this. And he was like, yeah, this is kind of funny though. So at midnight, I'm texting pictures of pig parts to a new friend of ours. And I'm like, Eric, just so you know, I'm sending these pictures. But she was in heat, so it was all fine. But yeah, needless to say, I felt really farmerish though. I'm like, yeah, I think I've entered a whole new level of farmer.
We've reached that level.
Yeah, for sure. So you have the pigs. What other animals do you guys have? Do you have other animals right now?
We've got chickens.
Yeah, we have chickens and we have one rabbit right now. And then of course
a lone rabbit. Is it a pet rabbit?
She has been a pet rabbit, yes. It was one of those things that, how you follow like the farm groups on Facebook, the local pages, and somebody posted this rabbit and a whole hutch for like $20, and they were like, she's only 2 years old, whatever. And I knew that I wanted rabbits. And so I said, okay, I'm going to get this rabbit, and brought her home. And then that's actually kind of the next thing on our list after we finish the pig area. We're going to build a bigger hutch because it's just like a small, I think it's actually a chicken coop is what it is, but on stilts. So we're going to build like a 5-bay rabbit hutch, kind of like the Naked Gardeners that they have. Yeah. And then we'll get a few more rabbits and bring them in. So
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then next trip to Texas, you'll have to stop in and get some rabbits from some of your people. We've got rabbits. I know the Naked Gardeners have rabbits. You got all kinds of people in Texas. You can just come get some Texas rabbits. They'll be good for North Carolina heat.
Right.
So.
How do you guys like the rabbit side of things?
We like it. I mean, we're revamping our rabbitry right now. We're going to go ahead and introduce the Tamuks, the ones that are basically really heat hardy. They're, bred here. They were kind of raised and built for this type of weather. I'm excited. I like rabbit. We've canned it this year. I like the way it tastes when it's been canned, which I was very surprised about because I was a little nervous. We definitely like to eat rabbit, and the more that I can find ways to make it and incorporate it into our regular meal rotation, the more I think my kids will get accustomed to it. It's just one of those things where we were raising it for a few years, throwing them in bags and putting them into our freezer, and then only eating them as a whole rabbit and not really realizing that I can make it ground. I can, put it in a jar. And if I have it put in a jar, then I can easily pull that meat straight off and make like a chicken salad, but rabbit salad. And it's already cooked, and it's so much easier when it's like that. Yeah. To pull it off the bone and throw it in a chicken pot pie or rabbit pot pie, it is just so much easier. So I'm learning better ways, but I like rabbit. We've been doing rabbit since 2016, I think. Okay. So yeah, I like it. And I like being able to do it and know that we have it as a sustainable meat.
I just feel like rabbits make so much sense for the homestead. Like they're just they don't take much time as far as like maintenance, they're very low key, and, it costs hardly anything to feed them. And technically, you can feed them for free if you have enough forage. So it just makes sense, but it's one of the tougher ones because they are one of the cuter ones too. So
well, the poop is really good too. I mean, you've got all that cold manure, and that's been really helpful for us because even there's a couple ladies that live, like I have a lady that lives in Tyler, and she'll drive all the way from Tyler, Texas, which is about an hour and a half from here. She'll drive north every 3 months or so, and she'll come get a big bag, a 50-pound bag filled with rabbit poop. And it's like, I'm like, yeah, just come up here and grab it and I'll fill it up for $15. So I'm like, okay, we're just reimbursing a bag of feed for ourselves. That's basically it. I just want you to give me a bag of feed. That's all I want. And so she loves it. She puts it in her garden. We've been putting it around our trees and using it in all our things. And I mean, that part of it right there is just really a huge help.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing for us too, trying to be able to not have to go to purchase meat from the store.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you said, it makes sense because they are able to breed so much. You're able to get a lot of meat off of them. I read somewhere once that you can, if you breed a female every month, it will produce more meat in 1 year than an entire cow will.
The quickest way to close the loop.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is that if we sit here and we talk about the fact that we want to raise our own food because we just don't know if there's going to be food in the grocery store, everybody here in this chat, everybody that listens to this whenever, will all agree that that's a very real possibility. But years ago, when we first started raising rabbits, we never thought that we would ever have to face the idea of the grocery store not having food for us to eat. And so I remember that when COVID first hit and everything was shutting down, I had a team meeting, aka a family meeting, and I basically told them, I said, if it gets any worse, the cows will be the first things to go, and we will continue to breed the rabbits and the pigs. Right. Because those two animals right there can produce so much food for you in a short period of time. Right. The cows are the ones that take most time.
Yeah.
And a lot of land. That's the thing with pigs. As you said, rabbits, you don't really need that much property to raise them if you want to raise them in tractors or have what do they call them? Where they just let them run the ground or whatever.
The colonies, the rabbit colonies, which are like awesome.
Yeah.
But can do that. But I will love it. Eric would never give up the land. He'd be like, no, okay, we're not doing that. But see, like, I'm surprised you guys haven't fallen victim to the chicken math, because chicken math extends beyond just chicken. It goes right into the chickens, and chickens go right into the ducks and go right into the other poultries like the quail and the turkeys. Yeah. So we raise turkeys now, and I love them. They're the cutest things. They're so inquisitive.
Yeah.
But they're not too cute to murder and just kill and eat, and it's fine. And so
Wow.
Look, I don't mind getting out there and like grabbing one and being like, get off of her, because they can be a little aggressive too sometimes. So I'll like grab them by the neck and move them away. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. I also have ducks out there that are just like that. I don't have any problem going out there, grabbing them by the neck and just telling them, no, sir, you're next in my pot if you don't stop it. And I just move them away. But yeah, usually you start out with chickens and then you go to the turkey and all the other, poultry. So yeah. I like
we did at our last house. I don't say we went quite that route, but we had chickens and then we had a few ducks.
We did do the ducks. We
decided
ducks are not for us.
Yeah.
Not right now. I don't know. We eventually would like to put a stocked pond here on our property as well. And if we ever get to that point and have some room to maybe put some ducks out there, then that might be an option. But as of right now, just the mess that they make. You guys know how every feed bowl and water bowl it's just ruined. So, if they would stay with the pigs, maybe that would be, that would be an option.
Well, I will say that Eric is, I think he's fallen in love with the Muscovy ducks because they're quieter.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to try the meat return on those. I have a friend that raises them for meat as well. And she basically just loves the Muscovy meat. They've already processed a few of their Muscovies and they say it's like better. It's such a great, really good red meat because that's how it comes out, as like a deep red meat. So yeah. I'm really excited about trying those too. And then the turkeys, I love raising our own turkeys. I really do. They're just the sweetest things, but they definitely have attitude when they need to. And yeah, they're awesome.
We have talked about turkeys. That might be another thing. We haven't got there yet. We kind of have a list of the things that we're after. And so, once the rabbits come, we're working on our pasture right now because when we cleared, we clear cut all the trees. And so there's no grass that's out there. So we've got to get it right and get the pasture good. And then we want to get sheep. So once the sheep come, then we can kind of dabble in like, well, let's try this variety of this or that or whatever kind of thing. But we had our staples that we wanted, and it was, the chickens, the pigs, and the sheep. And then the rabbits just kind of came along with the came along with it.
With the hutch.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is make sure that you're patient and, master one thing at a time. And I wouldn't even say master, but just get really good at it and make sure that it's what you want before you just go out and start, ransacking your place with all these animals. And, because there's a huge level of doing what you do because of, desire, like you want to do it, you like to do it. But we've found with a lot of people that we try to work with that they throw themselves into it so much and buy everything up front that they wind up burning themselves out.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's my piece of advice.
Yeah. We're trying to be very thoughtful on how we bring animals in and how we build out, because we're going to be here, our plan is to be here for possibly forever. So
hopefully,
as we build this stuff out, I don't want to build it 2 and 3 times. And we want to make sure that that as we set it up for efficiency as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're putting a little extra money into stuff than we would have. Like before we lived, we had a little 2-acre suburban homestead, and that's what we started with. So that was kind of our classroom. We dabbled in a few different things and got to know how to raise a few different animals. And then, once we're here, we kind of know like we want to go in this direction. And we're able to kind of funnel a little bit more money and a little bit more effort into things because we know that we want it to last, first of all, and then we need it to be efficient. So not something that we're going to have to be out there, repairing fences every day and catching animals all the time. And, we don't have time for that. So trying to make it right the first time. So
yeah, I agree. It's the
Right.
best way to do it.
That's
Do it
the way
right
to
the
do
first time, so you don't have to keep going back behind yourself.
yeah,
We've had to fix our pig fencing several times.
yeah.
And revamp, and
What have you found once they get 500 and 600 pounds? What have you found that works well? So right now we just have poly wire set up, just hot wire.
Hot wire.
And they were taught on hot wire as piglets from where we got them from, and then we put them on the hog netting, the Premier One hog netting when we were rotating them, and then moved them into the woods. They're on hot wire, but we don't have any. It's probably super terrible advice and to go this route, but we don't have any like cattle panel or hog panel set up. It's just the hot wire.
Well, I think if they're truly domesticated, which if you're out there handling them on a regular basis, that's they're customized, familiar with you all coming to handle them, so that if they got out for some reason. But the only time we've ever had a problem with the poly wire not working is with that boar that was trying to get to the sow. Yeah. So she was truly in heat. That was the one that we had problems with. And I mean, he would zap himself and then he would lay down and he would stand back up, and like you could see it, like the wheels turning, thinking,
he's trying to figure out,
I couldn't touch this fence, but she's over there and I need to get to her. And you can't get mad about it because that's what he's there to do. And but if they're always together, then
you don't have to worry about it.
You won't have to worry about that.
And that's the thing. If you plan to separate them, so I have people that I know that are very adamant about separating them at all times, keeping them separate until it's time to mate, have them be together for mating, and then you separate them again. We don't do that. We can't. It's just not economical for us. It doesn't make sense to us because our boar is so big that he will literally blow through hog panels, anything that we have there. He will do what he needs to do to get his job done. It's like a bull. You can have regular cattle panels. You can have all the fencing you want. But if you put a bull on the other side of a fence and there is a cow in heat on the other side, he will do whatever it takes to get to that cow, which is why you need to be mindful what you have and what you've got there for, if you don't absolutely need a boar, don't get a boar. But if you want to raise pigs like you're wanting to do, that's what we decided to do. And we just kept them together because it makes the most sense. They will breed in cycles. They'll do what they need to do. And you'll kind of know if you do want to separate them. Good night, Lori. Thank you for coming in. If you are going to separate them, make sure you get hog fencing. Cattle panels will not work.
Yeah.
Hog fencing is made for hogs. That works great. And yeah, other layers will root up the hot wire. Yeah, they will root into the hot wire too sometimes. But just have hog wire. Look, when we are the wiring, we have our fences and our paddocks that they're in. And then during the summertime, a lot of times I like to we would give them big long runs so they could kind of just root up the ground a little bit, and then they would come back and they go into their areas to eat and stuff. But we would only have 2 strands of poly wire, just 2 strands of poly. That's it. We didn't have the netting that you have that netting stuff too that you were using.
Not where they're at now. They're just on the wire now.
Wire. That's all we had. And they stayed in with 2 strands until he wanted to get to that girl. And you can see, I think, even in that video where Eric has the gun on him in that video with the one there, I think you can kind of see off in the distance that poly wire that we had up until we had to put him back in that fencing. But he didn't care. He went right through that wire and did exactly what he wanted to do, because that's what he was born to do. That's his job. His job is to mate. That's the goal in life, is to mate the female. I mean,
I mean, what else are men good for? So.
I mean, in this case, that's all the pig is good for. I'm not getting lured into your trap on this one.
I was going to say.
So when you say you keep your boar with your sow, so after she is pregnant and farrows, he's still in there, or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, we have a separate pen that he can go into. We have like little paddock, kind of like little stall areas that he can go into a separate one, and he will sometimes. Sometimes she's in there with the babies and she does not let him in there, and he's like, forget it, I'm leaving. And he just goes into another area. He just lays in there. But they stay together. We kept them apart for a little bit, and we tried, but no, they stay together. I mean,
after she's pregnant, it doesn't matter. He doesn't care one way or the other, but we have heard that some boars will actually try to get the sows to miscarry just so they can rebreed them. I have heard that they will continue to mount in order to try to miscarry, but I feel like with ours, because I think they grew up together, that doesn't happen. I've never seen it happen. She gets pregnant twice a year, pretty much like clockwork. She does really great with that. And she doesn't get pregnant all the time. It's twice a year. That's what she breeds. And we allow that because as long as her body condition is good, we make sure she's good, we don't have a problem with it. We do have paddocks that we can keep him in if we need to, but we don't really try to keep them separate anymore because it just makes more sense for them to be together. She actually gains weight better after she's been bred. After she has her babies, we notice she gains weight and actually looks healthier when she stays with him. I don't know why. Maybe she's just more comfortable that way.
Yeah, it's her buddy.
It is. So yeah, she does really great with him. So
good.
Well, we want to be mindful of time. We're happy to keep talking to you if you're good.
We just know it's getting late for you guys too.
It's all good. Yeah. I know you guys normally do an hour with your guest and then an hour without, right? So we don't want to hold you guys up either.
Well, that's normally because they're
what?
That's
normally because they're what? No, what?
You guys are too much fun.
Yeah, no, nobody's boring. You're gonna say somebody's boring.
I never said that.
Hey Jackie, this is Robert and Brooke from the Homemade Haven. So
hi Jackie.
Hey Miss Jackie.
Yeah. So anyway, but no, you guys can stay if you want. It's up to you guys. I know it's late for you guys, so that's why I didn't want to keep you either.
Well, let's see. We got 10:15. How about we'll stay 15 more minutes and then you guys can take over your crew.
Okay, no problem. So yeah, about the pigs, I always enjoy working with them. I think it's cool to see them growing up and be able to see the full cycle from them being dropped and then all the way up to the processing and then into the freezer, obviously, which the thing is that it's never easy to do. I know you were saying earlier about no, that was something else, never mind. But yeah, that's always been a thing. A lot of times people are like, well, how can you well, I had a guy today ask me, he's like, so do you name all your cows? And I'm like, yeah, I name them because that's how we know which one's which. I mean, and it's one of those things that all the animals are just treated with, such love and care. And it's not that it's easy. I always tell people if it's easy for you to just go out there and shoot them or take them to the processor and never feel a thing, those are the people you need to be watching.
Shoot, right? I just said that I had any trouble with some of that poultry out there. Are we in trouble now?
I feel like birds are different though. I don't know if Rich. I don't know
personalities. Yeah.
No, Rich is in here. He loves his chickens.
That's the question for me. They're kind of like pets. Like you do build a bond with them, and you can see their personalities. The chickens they're kind of dumb. Like they just run around and do their thing.
Pigs really do have personalities. They have such amazing personalities. Now, I've seen with chickens, they can be, because I have some chickens that are hand raised. Like I have a friend that lives down in Rockwall. And so they live in a community, so they can't actually keep a lot of chickens. And so I would hatch the birds out, give my friend like 6 or so birds. She would raise them up. And once they were basically at an age where she couldn't keep them anymore, she would give me anybody that was a rooster. And then if she could keep 1 or 2, because they could have like a couple out back, and then I would get the rest. And so I would have every now and then have these girls, these little hens that were hand raised from the time they were, just hatched out at my place, and they were hand raised over there. And they do have personalities when they're hand raised like that.
Yeah.
Being born on the farm and kind of like feral, if you will, chickens, they don't have the personalities as much as I would see in some of the ones that are a little bit more attention. Now, my turkeys, they got personalities. But that's because I think my 8-year-old handles them a lot. He goes out there, he picks them up. He has one that a couple that he's named. One in particular, he's got his name White Pants because he's got little white pants. And he just like he's a full grown turkey. And he just grabs them and he picks them up and he hugs them and he just like tortures them for a second by like squeezing on them and loving on them. And then he like pets his little head and then he puts them down. And I'm like, that's the cutest thing.
Yeah,
this turkey knows him.
Yeah.
So I mean,
form a bond.
Yeah. But yeah, pigs definitely have a personality, unlike any other animals here. I think pigs are probably one of my favorites. I like the Muscovies. I like the turkeys, but I like pigs. I like them a lot. I mean, our boy that we just took in November, I think we took him in. And I'll tell you what, he was my baby. Like, I hate to have bottle pigs because that means they're in trouble. They're struggling. But man, I'll tell you what, some of my best times on the homestead in the past few years have been raising pigs in my house and watching their little personalities just come out. So it's been really cool.
Yeah. I think everybody has their animal on the homestead, like you kind of tend to like that animal more than other, and you kind of have that bond with them. And I do like the pigs too. I mean, they are very dog-like the way that they respond. And we've been very hands-on with them since the beginning because of how big they're going to get. Right. And just, I'm a pretty small person, and, it can be kind of intimidating going in with an animal that's 5 times your size, And so every time we've gone in, we give them scratches on the head, and they know that like we're feeding them, we're their friends, kind of thing. And so I can see when the time comes, it's going to be a little tough to let the one go. I'm sure that once we're raising up bigger litters, it'll be a little bit different. But having just the 2, it's like, oh, one's missing. You know what I mean? Like,
you'll notice for sure. I mean, look, when we took that boy in, I would actually take him. I would go out to the pasture and I would he would lay down. I actually got to the point where I could lay with him. I could lay my head on him like a dog. And just a few pigs that we had a couple years ago, because I always like to go out there and pet on as much as possible. And one of the pigs got their tooth all like tore up, their mouth all tore up, just a few days, maybe 4 or 5 days before we had to take him to process. And I was like, oh no, this is awful. And I thought, we're never going to be able to take care of him. Well, they were so trained so well. We were able to look in there. I was able to take his little lip, pull it up, and I was able to actually doctor his mouth up with all natural stuff. I was spraying like silver spray on his mouth. And that's not how normal people deal with pigs. That's just, he was like my pet. So it was really cool to be able to know. So keep on doing that. Keep on, developing that relationship with them, because the more you do that, the easier it is for them to trust you, the easier it is for you to check them out if they do get sick. I mean,
Sure.
I was able to touch all over Peter the pig's body. I was able to check his paws, his hooves, his little hooves. I was able to take my fingers and put it inside of his mouth, even with his tusks, because he was almost 2 years old. He would have been 2 this February. I could take my hand and put it all the way in his mouth. I could have picked his nose if I wanted to, but I would take my hand and I would always put it to his nose so he could smell me first. And they always want to try to mouth you. They use their mouth to try to, see who you are. But I would always put my hand there and just be mindful. But he was like a baby. So yeah, you keep on practicing with them and they get really familiar. So yeah, it's nice that way.
Hey, G-Mom.
Yeah. Hey. So hey, Chuck and Belinda, how are you? So yeah, it's good. You'll have fun with your pig.
You mentioned earlier you had to make a processing date at the end of the year. Is that how far you guys out? Are you out on processing?
Oh really? Yeah, I'm sure we are.
Yeah.
The last time we took them in, it was I think 11 months for cows.
It was
8 months, I think, for pigs.
Yeah, it was 9 months the last time I checked for hogs. And then, the cattle I've had these appointments. I have an appointment for February and for April. And I made 4 appointments. So 2 different dates, 4 cows total. And I did that back in June. They opened up their book for 6 months at a time. And so June 14th, I'll never forget the date because I wrote it in my book, June 14th, call. And then I didn't get a chance to call until like the 16th. And I was kicking myself because I'm like, how did I forget that? And I called the 16th and they were already booked out 3 weeks from the open date. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So immediately I was like, can I book 2 appointments? She was like, no problem. Sure. And I said, perfect. Because we go in there, many times, as much as we can. So yeah.
Wow.
Have y'all ever processed any of your own?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the reason why we take them to process, when we first started doing it mainly for ourselves, we were processing them ourselves, not the cows. We've only done 1 cow, and that was because it really hadn't grown out the way we wanted it to.
It was 2020 as well in September.
So we basically, there's a smaller butcher. You're probably aware of them over in a closer city, but anyway, they don't have like a facility. So he told us, he's like, if you quarter it up and bring it to us, we'll hang it and then process it from there.
Okay.
And, but yeah, when we first started in the pig industry, if you will, we started out with potbelly pigs, and that was really by, just by accident.
Default.
As well. A friend of mine at work had seen somebody was vacating a piece of property and they had like 6 potbellies and they were like free to a good home. I'm like, well, let's go see them. So we went and captured them, brought them back, and
they're running wild on this property.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but it was a really good practice ground for us. And so that's where we learned that cattle panels don't work for full-size pigs, because when we built the structure, if you will, for potbellies is nowhere anything near a 500-pound boar that wants to just blow through everything, So, but that's kind of how we, for lack of better terms, cut our teeth in the pig industry. Okay. And then when we started selling back to people, we take them to the processor, because that's how we have to do it here. It has to be registered or done by a registered processor here in the state of Texas.
So that's another thing. I feel like we have butchered our animals here. So anything that we've grown on our farm, we've processed at least one of them on our farm. And we've done beyond. So we've butchered goats for a friend of ours. We butchered geese. We actually had a lady give us a bunch of geese one time. She was like, I'm going to give you all these geese, and just if you butcher them, I'll take back, I think there was like 17 or there was 15 geese. She said, if you can process all of them, I'll let you have 8 of the 17. And I'm like, okay, sounds like a plan. So I kept basically half of them or whatever it was. And we processed them, and it was stupid. And I hated it. And I hated them in our house. I hated them on our yard. I hated every bit of it. I said, well, thank you for that experience, Lord, but I will never get geese. They have big poops. They poop everywhere they go. They're worse than ducks, and they're loud as all get out. And I hate them. And I hate them. I hated them. So I got rid of them. And it was the best day of butchering. I'm like, la-di-da-di-da. Yeah, that was me. That's when I was a little bit cuckoo right there.
That's what you got to watch out for.
Yeah.
That's like Criminal Minds behavior.
I literally was so happy for that processing. I never am like, yes, I can't wait to butcher these animals. Like, no, for real, those geese. I was like, I cannot wait till Saturday. We're just gonna butcher every last one of them jokers. I hated them things. But we learned. And I'm proud to say that we know how to do every animal that's on our property. We have done it, whether it's a big full-size hog or a smaller hog, or, the potbellies, or whether it's geese or goats or full-sized, we know how to do full-size cows. We've done every animal that's been on our house and our property we've done. And I feel like as somebody, whistle while you slaughter. That's my brother-in-law. And I told him one day when we were processing meat birds, we were doing an assembly line. We had like 30 some meat birds to do. And he's sitting there like whistling and humming and something. I'm like, hold on, dude. That's like what murderers do. You can't help. While you're processing these birds. He was like, no, that's just what I'm doing. I'm like, we can't do that. We can't do that while we're processing chicken. Feels wrong. But yeah, I was whistling while those geese were going, let me tell you. But I just feel like we should know how to do it so that if we ever have that moment where we're like, oh no, we can't go anywhere, we can do it. And we can know, okay, we know we can do this.
And I think it's important that if you're going to raise something for that purpose, understanding that, like, having that connection, even if it's not when we've processed chickens twice now. And the first time we did it at a friend's farm, but it was the chickens that we raised. And I grew up hunting, right? Like I've taken an animal's life before. Yeah. It's completely different when it's something you've raised in your backyard on your farm and you're doing it with your own two hands. Yep. There is no shooting it across the field and it goes off and does its thing. It's different when you do it with your own hands, and then when it ends up on your plate and that cycle is complete. So I think it's important that if you're gonna raise animals, that you do it at least once, so you can have full respect for that process.
Yeah, bless you. Yeah, I think that's super important. I think it's important too for kids to see that, because some people are like, "You let your kids see that," and I'm like, "Yeah, my kids help," because for us, it's important for the kids to see that process, to know where their food's coming from. Because, I have so many friends of mine that are like, I could never do that. And I'm like, but you're still eating chicken nuggets and steaks and all that. And I know that the steak that's on my plate was given so much love, was given pets and hugs, and we were giving them treats every now and then. And they were given that consideration that I think that animals deserve. And yes, I might hate geese, but they still, have a place in society and life and all that. And so, yeah.
Well, I think that's a big piece of it too. And it is the fact that most people don't, because they don't understand the process or even understand how much work goes into processing an animal. I know a lot of times we'll open our doors, for lack of better terms, to people who want to learn how to live the way we live and process things. And, this at the New Year, we had some friends of ours come in, and there was one of the family friend that they brought down with them. And he really had no interest in living on a farm or living this way. But we had a problem with one of the cows, and I didn't have any big people help. So I went to him and I said, "Hey, I'm going to need your help. Here's what I need you to do." And he's like, "Okay, no problem." And so he sat there and helped us treat these cows that had pink eye and stuff like that. He learned how to run them through the chute, how to get them through the corral. He saw the process. And later on that night or the next day, I told him, I said, that's why every piece of food that we put on our plate, we're thankful for, because we understand the amount of work and care that goes into every single one of those animals. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why, a lot of times on our live, I will try different foods. And sometimes it may or may not be testicles from pigs. Just saying. When you raise your own food, you don't want to waste
anything. Yeah.
And even if you don't like it, I mean, if you try it and you don't like it, I mean, there's certain things that we don't really care for. But when we go to the processor and they're asking, do you want the heart? Yes. Do you want the liver? Yes. Do you want the kidneys? Yes. Do you want the tail? Yes. Yep. Do you want, whatever else. Yes, I want every piece that you can give. Give me the hooves. Give me everything, because even if we don't eat it, there may be somebody else who likes that,
Sure.
and or I can barter it, or we can cut it up and give it to the dogs.
Yeah.
Right. There's always a use for something. And that's kind of the journey that we're on too. I sat through a class with, oh goodness, what was their names now? Sean and Beth Doherty. You guys heard of them? They were at the Homesteaders of America. And anyways, they are all about the all-inclusive homestead. So like everything that they do on their homestead is completely inclusive. So they grow all of their own feed for all of their animals, and everything has like a full circle on their homestead. So they're not going out and buying things off the homestead. It's all, right there. And I was just so inspired by that. I'm like, that just makes so much sense. I mean, that's really what the ultimate goal is to, cut out the middleman and provide all of this ourselves and do it all of ourselves. And anyway, they were talking about how like, raising chickens and pigs, especially, like you have all the feed that you need for those animals on your land. Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't have to go out and buy this and whatever. And they talked about, feeding like the offal, I don't know if that's how you say it, but like the byproducts of like the chicken processing to the pigs, and then vice versa, is a great source of protein. And anyway, so when we processed our last chickens, that's what we did. We gave it to our pigs, and I'm like, I don't know if they're going to eat it or not. And they ate it right up. Yeah.
Well, we do that when we're processing any animals here. We usually, even when we've been processing, like especially when we process rabbits, we throw all the extra stuff, all the offal, whatever it is. We throw all that out. We give it right to the chickens, and they will just run around having the best day because they're getting all these little pieces of rabbit innards, and that's their jam. They like it. So the rabbits are being processed. We're doing that. And in the end, the chickens are eating stuff. We'll take other parts, then we'll boil it up and give it to the pigs. A lot of times we'll do it boiled and cooked, because we had a hog one time that we borrowed a boar from my friend that did the pigs and stuff, and we borrowed his boar. And we have free range chickens and ducks and everybody. They hang out in the pig pen. They love our pigs. If our pigs are sleeping, the chickens and roosters and stuff, they will get on the pigs and stand there. I mean, that's how friendly everybody is. And we borrowed this boar, and he came over, and within 2 days, I noticed we were losing chickens because his boar was not used to the chickens being in the same pen, and the ones that he had that would get into his pen, that boar would eat them. And so the boar that was visiting my house, his name was Buster. He thought it was manna from heaven, because these birds were flying in, wanting to be his friend, eating from the same time. And he'd be eating food, look over and eat the chicken, and then keep eating his food. And I was like, no, that's how we're not doing that. So anyway, it's called awful because it's awful. But anyway, so we try to, we cook our stuff only because we've had the raw meat interaction with the pig that we had before. So we cook our stuff up, we throw it out there for the pigs. If we have, stuff from the cows and stuff, we get as much as we can back. The oxtail, I mean, I've used that for making bone broth and all the beef stock and everything. I mean, I've started doing that more. We've eaten the tongue and the heart. Now we just find people that maybe we can bless with it, because it's not my favorite thing, but we do not throw it out.
I mean, that's the thing, like, like hog feet, for example, and then even hog head. I mean, that's something that certain cultures eat.
Yeah.
And so I have been able to give that to some of my coworkers. Yeah. Because they love it. And it's not to say I wouldn't love it as much as I don't know how to prepare it.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I often go back to lingua. Robert, I'm sure you've had lingua before, right?
The tongue.
For sure.
The lingua.
Lingua tacos and stuff.
That's like Texas, the beef tongue.
Yeah, that's beef tongue. Well, we took the tongue from one of our cows, and we have to try it. So Monica crock potted that thing, and we had some good
lingua tacos
and stuff. And the thing was that it's one of those things that you just don't know you're going to like until you try it. because most people in America haven't had to eat something like that because we're just so blessed with so much food to choose from.
Sure. And I think the mental thought of doing something outside, something that's taboo like that, is worse than actually trying it. Like rabbit, for example, I had never had rabbit until like 4 months ago. And we happened to go to a restaurant. It was on the menu and she ordered it. And I took a bite of it expecting like it to be something that it wasn't. And honestly, and it's probably the way they prepared it possibly, but if no one would have told me any different, I would have thought it was just chicken.
Yeah. Well, that's how we lured the Naked Gardeners into starting their rabbitry. They came down here and they were like, yeah, so we're, Tori was like, okay, Sid's wanting rabbits. We're not sure what we're going to do. And we walked him around. We showed him our rabbit stuff. And I was like, come on, let's go eat some rabbits. Hey, Carla. And so I made them rabbit nachos. And I feel like that's how you lure anybody into doing it. If you want to raise a meat, you make that meat into nachos. And it's going to convince people because they were like, okay, we're raising rabbits. And it just made me laugh because she's like, you can't just feed people nachos and think it's going to work. It did. It worked. It worked great. And but I mean, that's the main way. And as a matter of fact, my friend that just visited from Illinois, we haven't seen her in 2 years. And I'm going to tell you what, she is the only friend of mine that ever comes to visit and asks specifically for rabbit meat. She specifically says, can we make rabbit nachos? And I'm like, she doesn't even live on a farm. She's a city girl. She doesn't raise animals. And she didn't even like her dog she owns. And she's not an animal lover. And she's like, I want rabbit tacos, rabbit nachos. And I'm like, let's go for it. So it's really cool to see that. But I will say the first time we ever butchered our own rabbits, I couldn't do it. I cooked them. Everybody had some and I could not eat it until the next day. I didn't even try it. Because I had prepared it. It was really difficult for me to eat it because I had just prepared it. The same with the lengua and the heart because I had prepared it and I'm the one that had to do all the peeling and the moving and all the parts of it that wasn't so pretty. Right. I couldn't eat it right away. I had to make sure everybody ate it first. And then I took a little bite, but I had a hard time because I knew who that was from. And I was really connected to that beef. And even with the rabbits, it was really difficult at first. But after I got through that initial moment, I was okay. Yeah. But I think
that comes with it. Like, I don't want chicken at all. Not our chicken anyways, after we've processed chickens for quite a while. I'm like, I'm not going to cook those, And then the first time you have it, you're like, does this taste weird to you? It's just a mental thing. And then eventually you're like, oh, it's just chicken. You know what I mean? But it is that like having that connection. It's like, it really makes you respect the entire process and the entire animal, like you were saying, we definitely don't waste any of it anymore because, it means a lot.
Yeah. So. Yeah, for sure. Well, Regina's got a good point too. She said that a lot of things we didn't eat, my parents made dog food. That's one of the things I've been thinking about too is, you store up for your family and how do you store up for your animals? Do you guys have pets? Do you have like dogs or anything there?
Yeah, we do. We have 2 dogs and a cat.
And so I think about that too. Like, we buy dog food, we buy dry dog food. And I think, I need to make sure that I am putting things away so that if we needed to, I mean, obviously our dogs could eat the meat we're storing up because it's pretty much, there's not a lot of stuff that has, I do a lot of flavors in my stuff. Like, I'll can taco meat or I'll can beef stew or but when I can some simple meats, I thought I really need to start canning up some simple things. And I thought even maybe just trying to can up some of the extra livers and hearts and things like that, instead of feeding it to them right away, it might be worth canning a few of those, putting it on the shelf and having it there if my animals needed it.
Yeah,
man, they worked hard for that liver. Don't be taking that from them.
but it's something that I could, put up. And I know that people do that. I know that's one of the things Casey over Ormsby Farms was doing. He was putting up cans of, food, raw food. He was putting up cans of homemade dog food for his dog, so that if something happened and he couldn't get dog food, he knew that he had homemade, wholesome dog food for her that would be fine to pull out in an emergency and feed it to her. So.
Yeah. For sure. It's something to think about. I mean, They got to eat too.
That's one of those things I normally think about 2 a.m. I remember, and then I try to make mental notes, but I've just thought about it much earlier tonight. Oh, that's right. I need to start making dog food in jars. Right? One of those things that runs through my night. The middle of the night, I wake up in the middle of the evening. Oh, this is what I need to can next.
All right. Well, we're going to say goodbye to you. Not because we're tired of talking to you. You guys have been a delight to talk to, but I know that you're tired. I can see it in your eyes.
Are we drooping slowly?
Yeah. You got to keep adjusting the camera down because you're sliding off.
Well, you know what? I really, really just want to say thank you so much for coming on here. This was so nice. And
we appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Yeah, I really am excited that we were able to talk to you. And next time you guys are in Texas, you'll have to stop over because
for sure.
Oh yeah.
We're like so close to your family.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you ever have any questions about pigs or just looking to pick someone's brain, feel free. You have our contact information.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
If you guys ever come out to the beach, out to North Carolina, let us know.
Oh, there you go.
Wilmington.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna be visiting Florence in July, so I won't be too far from you guys. Maybe I'll hit you up and stop up there and see you guys.
Yeah, come on.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
All right. See you guys later.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
That was the Homemade Haven, guys. I want you guys to go over there and check them out. Looks like Jen already posted their link. If you guys get a chance, go check them out. They're awesome people. Super nice. Couldn't you just feed dogs beef stew with carrots and potatoes? Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that too, Jen. Good call. Because in my brain, I was processing and I was like, oh, I have beef stew in there. So I could probably just throw extra stuff like that together. So yeah, I know. I agree, Caleb. They were awesome. Super, super nice people. So you want to go check them out. Their videos are really good too. They have good content on their videos. I don't think I actually double skipped their video the last time I watched it. I know.
Are we getting into that again?
No. Okay. So here's a question for everybody in the chat. I got to ask everybody. I've got 24 people in the chat. Even if you're not commenting on here, you can just come on and comment this. Do me a favor and answer me this question. Because I posted it on my Facebook page today and I'm looking for a real solid answer. So when you say the same word as somebody, like you jinx them.
Why are you getting
what do you say? Do you say, jinx, you owe me a Coke? Or do you say, pinch poke, you owe me a Coke? What do you say? Is it jinx, you owe me a Coke? Or is it pinch poke, you owe me a Coke? What is it? Because there's a debate going on my Facebook page. And that was my private Facebook page. But there's a debate going on in my friend's page. And it looks like a lot of Southerners say, pinch poke, you owe me a Coke. And then, Hematite Homestead, you can tell they're a Northerner. Look, right there, soda. Actually, they're from, you're from West Virginia, aren't you? Wait, what is that?
That's not what are you
where is that?
I'm not even saying.
Where is it? I don't know where it is. I can't see it. What does it look like? Hold on. What is that?
Jinx, you owe me a Coke with
Jinx, that's a Northerner.
Our treasured homestead.
Wait, what is that? What is Hematite Homestead? Where is that? I can't see what it's from.
Wait, Andale's been here the whole time?
Andale! Just say Jinx. I just say Jinx. And then
just say Jinx.
If they talk, they get pinched. So Caleb doesn't play that game, so he can't. Just Jinx. Jinx. So it's Jinx, owe me a Coke. Virginia, West Virginia. Oh, it is. Okay, it is Virginia. Wait, it looks like a West Virginia thing on it. See, I think it looks like a West Virginia. Where do you think that's from? Hematite Homestead.
I don't know.
See? Okay, so yeah, because see, that's more Northerner. Like, even though West Virginia and Virginia technically isn't the North, because I get it. It's more of like a Northern. Thank you so much. And you say Jinx too? Jinx. You just say Jinx. Do you say Jinx, you owe me a Coke? Only get a soda if they talk. Pinch poke because it rhymes, and Yankees don't know how to rhyme. That's what Jocelyn said. My friend over at Hobbs. She said, what in the Northerner are you talking about? And she said that earlier today on my thing. I said, get out of here. Regina, pinch poke, you owe me a Coke. See, I had a feeling. Andale's been lurking the whole time. Lurking tonight, but I hit the like button. You're so sweet. Thank you so much, Andale. Andale's big time over on Instagram. She's big time.
She's big time everywhere.
She is big time everywhere. I'm definitely gonna come see you. I gotta come.
Oh, now you want to come see her?
She's a superstar. Yeah, because she's a superstar now. Now I'm totally gonna come see her.
She already was.
She's like a superstar. Okay, I won't do that. I've never heard the pinch poke one. I've lived all over, and I'm 62, and this is the first time I ever heard that one at Monaco. Well, I was told that pinch poke owe me a Coke. So I'm thinking that somebody jinx and then a punch in the arm. Not sure why. So that's like punch buggy thing for
Violence.
us. Like if you see a punch buggy, you're like punch buggy and you say the color and then you go on, right? A pinch and a punch for the first of the month. What?
Wow. They're just running around hitting everybody.
I feel like that's gangster.
What?
I feel like that's kind of gangster.
That was about as white as you could possibly
gangsta.
get. That was better.
Ariel's a pinch and a punch for the first of the month. I don't know. Pinch and poke, but then you hit them and they say slip, slap, now take it back. That right there. So somebody said something like that earlier. I don't believe you, Monica, but would love to meet you. I am coming. I will leave my kids at my mom's and I will just drive up there. Pinch poke. That's what I'm thinking, Regina. I knew you were from the South. Yes, punch buggy is punching someone in the arm. Yeah, see, like punch buggy, you're like punch buggy red, no punch backs.
Why are you so aggressive tonight?
I'm from Wisconsin. I hit the like button when I came. Wait, I don't believe you, but I'd love to meet you. Okay, I already saw that part. Okay, I'm just saying. I think it's jinx. You owe me a Coke is more popular than pinch poke. You owe me a Coke. I respect people's space, so I ain't gonna pinch or poke anyone. I agree, Roberta. I told my friend, I told Jocelyn, I was like, you better not pinch or poke me. She just laughed at me. So I have a feeling she would pinch or poke me. So now I'm gonna have to make sure I don't ever jinx her. And she said maybe it's a Viking thing. It could be a Viking thing. We're learning about the Vikings in school right now. That's one of our lessons we're doing. So yeah, she's feeling it. I am feeling it.
Yeah.
The punch buggy thing, punch buggy.
Girl, you don't want to get started. That's why I can't, because I remember, growing up.
No, he's too violent.
I am. I'm too violent. And growing up with three brothers, it was like the opportunity. You're like looking out the window, eyes wide open, drooling, waiting for a VW bug to drive by just so you can be like, punch buggy, pow, and just like clocking as hard as you could. Oh, that was great.
Slug bug and you slugged them. That is gangster. Gangster. Jackie, gangsta. Okay, so pinch poke. See, Vineyard Farmhouse never. I think that's because I think he's from California, right? Vineyard Farmhouse. Are you from California?
No, I thought he was New York.
New York? No.
You sure?
No,
because he's talking about was winter when we were.
Yeah, I'm all over Beetlejuice. Yeah. Okay, no, wait. Here's another one. Ready? I didn't look for the punch buggies. When I was a kid, I wanted to do the beaver whack, which is the wood siding on the back of the wood panels on the side of a car. Man, if you saw you saw a vehicle and you beaver whacked them, you'd just be like, bam! And you could just like stiff arm them, just
no.
Smack them.
You were not doing that with your siblings.
I was smacking my sister. Ask Mindy. I was smacking her. I was like, beaver whack, bam! And I'd hit her. Yeah, beaver whack right there. See? Look. Jason/Caleb. This is the vibe. Eric is liking the vibe.
She's right.
He does like that. He likes when I get all like aggressive. I grew up in California. See, I knew it until the age of 10. Then moved to New York.
See?
Jinx was used in both states. See, we both knew it. I knew you were in California for a while though. I remember you saying that.
Here you go. What about this?
Padiddle and slap the roof. Yes, padiddle. So you'd be like padiddle. That's when you saw a one-eyed car. One-eyed car. Yeah, because it's like they're like driving like this.
No, one headlight is out.
One headlight.
The
it's a
one-eyed car. I have no idea what you're even talking.
Yeah.
Dude, look at you.
Yeah, I look like a weirdo. With my one eye. I have to hold my mouth like that.
Wait, you can't close just one eye?
That's weird.
No, do it again. I'm not watching. Why are you doing kissy face?
I don't know. When you see WV bug, you slug them and say slug bug. Yeah, see, that's what Jackie was saying, Regina. You guys are like hoodlums.
Wow.
That's like for real. Slug bug. That sounds really violent. That sounds worse than punch buggy. Punch buggy sounds like a little bit less violent than slug bug. Slug, but it's like uppercut. Slug is like when you slug somebody. See, Troy will be loving this right now.
I know what it is.
Hey, Suzanne, how are you?
Why are you acting like I don't know what it is?
I just feel like slug. When you slug somebody, it's a lot more violent. Yeah, one headlight is a Popeye. A Popeye? Yeah. Like a Popeye.
Because he's always...
Wait,
what?
Yeah, that
was... What was he doing?
A beaver whack is violence. No. Beaver whack is violence. No, I'm not doing the Popeye thing again.
Come on.
It's Popeye. Watch out for them one-eyed cars. Yeah, because they can't see around corners. They only got one eye. They're just turning the same corner over and over again. Here in Texas, I want someone to come up with a paper tag punch. Oh, wait, a what? Paper bag punch?
I don't know what that is.
A paper tag. Oh, like when they're wearing the paper tags. You know, like the temporary tags.
Yeah.
The paper tags. So you can like punch somebody when they're wearing a temporary tag. Like the car's got the temporary. Hey, sister-in-law, can you explain slug bug again? No, Caleb, I will not. Because I know that you're trolling me right now. Oh, at least you know what? Keep your enemies close. You got me tearing up.
So what?
Why? Because I'm going like this, or because I'm talking about slug bug?
What about this paper tag? Like, what can you rhyme with that? Usually,
some days she had bruised arms. See, Regina admits it.
Yeah, when you go,
they were hoodlums with the slug bug thing.
When you go on a long trip somewhere, that's when you gotta be prepared. So
when you gotta wear padding on your arms
before you go on a long trip, you gotta get some push-ups in a couple weeks ahead of time.
Yeah. Yeah, punch buggy was for the one-eyed car. No, buggy, no. Punch buggy is for a VW bug.
Yeah.
Padiddle is where you're like padiddle and you hit the top of your car. You like smack the top of your car.
Yeah.
And the one-eyed headlight, the one-eyed car, they can't see around the corners. They can only drive straight.
What?
Yeah, the one-eyed car. They can't see her on the sides, so they gotta drive that way. See? Hey, Teresa, how are you?
What do you mean, see, like you've proved the point? You have proved nothing. You've just like had a very difficult...
Teresa, do you say Jinx, you owe me a Coke? Or do you say Jinx? Or no, you say pinch poke, you owe me a Coke. Jinx, you owe me the Coke? Or pinch poke, you owe me a Coke? What do you say? Teresa's like, I don't say nothing. I just punch him in the face. No, you don't.
Wow.
Teresa's like, I don't mess with people. Paper tags are mostly used by people who can't legally get tags and insurance. So down in the south of Texas, she sees a lot of paper tags, which is why she wants to punch people when she's driving around her cool Jeep. You need to have, it's not going to be a paper tag punch. It's going to be like a run off the road punch, like just roll over them with a Jeep.
Oh, well, let's see what Jackie says.
Jackie, also, when you pass a graveyard, you have to touch a button until you pass it so the spirit doesn't follow you.
You have to touch
a button? What button?
What button?
Like on the button on the radio
or something?
Don't jinx me. We're not playing that game. Jinx, you owe me. Jinx, you owe me. So you don't owe nobody nothing? You owe me a Coke. You owe me a soda. You owe me a bag of potatoes. Coffee and Krispy Kreme sounds delicious. Like, wait, I hold a Coke. Wait, I hold a Coke owing me seriously. So she doesn't always say they owe her a Coke. Jinx, only if they talk do they owe you, and you just keep poking them. That is rough.
Yeah, see, I mean, just the violent side of me, real quick. I was thinking, like, if they kept talking, if I was going by that rule, I would use my thumb and I would just start jabbing them in the rib.
No.
Yeah.
Wait, on your shirt or your pants. You have to touch a button. I don't have any buttons on my stuff. What I'm wearing leggings and a shirt. I got ghosts following me everywhere now.
What if you...
My aunt lived behind a graveyard. What does she do then? She's always walking around like this, touching buttons. She's wearing a button up. She's like, oh, cried. I owe her a bag of potatoes now. Should we just jinxed?
Look, she said you nailed it.
No, Jackie said you had to touch a button. And Carla said I nailed it with running people over with her Jeep for the paper tags.
Oh.
People giving you IOUs for Coke.
Did you see Barry's? He said you should hold your breath when you have passed.
Oh, shoot.
The graveyard.
What about my Aunt Sandy? She just living her life with no breath. No button on your shirt when a funeral goes by. Oh, so a button on your shirt when you see a funeral goes by. Eric used your thumb so bad. Oh, stop it. And tell mom and dad. Wait, you never did? So you got ghosts following you around too. I'm wearing leggings and a t-shirt. I got no buttons anywhere. I need to get shirts. I need to get button-ups. That's it. I need to get button-ups before I travel again.
I feel like this could get really bad.
I need button-ups before I travel. I need to get bags that I can breathe
air into. Why
into.
don't you just drive around the
What do people do that
graveyards?
What do people do that live behind graveyards? Or by graveyards? A belly button. Good call. I got a belly button.
Oh, man. Yeah,
I got a big old belly button. I'd be like, whoop.
Wow. Well, you need to put your fist in that bad boy.
I say like that.
Oh, okay.
But then I look like a weirdo with my finger in my belly button. I'm driving around with my finger in my belly button. Gotta hold it here. The kids are like, Mom, why you got your finger in your belly button? I'm gonna go past. I'm going past the graveyard? Or is it a funeral hearse now? I don't know. And how do I know if it's a funeral hearse or if it's just a regular hearse driving down the road? I mean, they got to drive back to the place after a funeral, right?
Lift your feet going over train tracks. I do remember that.
Yes, I do know that too. I only wear short shorts and get out of here. They don't believe in superstitions. I don't normally. Belly button doesn't count.
Uh-oh.
Same, wearing leggings. Yeah, what are we going to do, Ariel? We can't drive nowhere because if we drive past the graveyard, we got spirits following us along because belly buttons don't count now.
You got Casper the ghost over there?
Yeah. Teresa said belly buttons don't count. And now I can never wear leggings when I'm driving around town. People who live near graveyards just sage their houses. Okay. And then you look like a weirdo. Like, you can't jinx me from here. Who did Larry just jinx somebody? I'm not jinxing you, Larry. Until I say your name. Okay. He's saying jinx. You can't talk until I say your name. So that's how my kids play. They don't play Oh You Cook either. They play jinx and you have to be quiet until somebody says your name. What kind of people spend time coming up with all these weird ideas of what to do in these situations? Since they've all passed on by for now, for sure and certain, I bet you they're rolling on the floor. Or they're following me and Ariel around because neither one of us are wearing buttons.
Yeah.
And we'd be driving through town, not holding our breath and not putting our hands on buttons when we drive past all these graveyards. So they're all my house. I sage my house regularly. I mean, I've got sage growing in my garden. It's the only thing still in my garden. Did you see that? I have sage growing in my garden. No. I'll grab a whole lot of it, light it on fire.
I think I need to till. I need to till that thing up.
No, sage is good.
Well, no, I want to give you something to talk about later on when we start.
I'll pull it out with my hand and bring it in. Just put it in a thing and just light it on fire. Just. That's right, Larry. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, jinx, and then you can't talk until I say your name. So that's most of the time what people do in my house, but they don't always follow the rules. Yeah, they did. See?
Well,
Ariel said they're following
that's
her.
weird, though. Old ways gardening.
I won't do it, Jen. I'm not doing it.
had reasons for that, but I don't know what the U-Haul game is.
Yeah, I'm not burning sage, but unless I'm making it in my food, which then I probably will burn it because I burn a lot of my meals. Not on purpose.
Amen to that. But no, there was several.
That's the only time I burn
What
sage.
are those old songs like
the
ashes, we all fall down, or whatever?
Yeah, that's bad news. Don't.
It's like bad news.
Don't say
so.
That.
I wonder about where they did come up with these different ideas to do these things.
And I think some of them probably had, good ideas.
Maybe they were just trying to have fun with the
I don't
kids.
believe in any of that stuff, by the way. None of it.
Your finger in your belly button, you don't believe?
I will not put my finger in my belly button.
What about your fist?
No. I will not be touching buttons. I still will hit the top of I'll still give a padiddle up there. Boop, boop. I'm not doing anything. It's nothing bad. And I will punch you if we hit a punch buggy area or the children. I'll punch the children too.
I remember when we first dated and you did that to me once.
We just jammed up. Oh, there it is.
I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, what do I do? Do I just take it? Because I don't ever. I
punched you?
Yeah. I think it was the beaver whack was the first time.
There was no beaver whack driving around in 1995, 1996.
Yeah. You're the one that taught me about that. I don't know.
Nursery rhymes. Yeah. I taught you about beaver whack.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of like sheltered house are you living in? Your parents never told you about beaver whack? A half point for a trailer, 1 point for a regular truck, 2 points for big U-Haul. My goodness, it's like Eric's gold stars he'd be giving out. They don't mean nothing. Well, don't say never due to having to clean out your belly button. This is true. But I guess I do put my finger in my belly button to clean it out.
Did you have to seriously look down and consider whether you do or don't?
Yeah.
Clean out your belly button?
For a second there. I mean, it just naturally happens. I naturally clean it out when I'm washing my body off. I'm really many superstitious people. I'm not. I love black cats, visiting graveyards, walking on the sidewalk cracks. I live adventurously. Oh, yeah. I stomp all those cracks just in case it works. No.
I was watching something the other day about this right here, the superstition.
Yeah, we're not superstitious either.
About black cats.
I love black cats.
Well, they were saying that people... Here we are, 2 minutes left. And
he loves coming to see us just at the end, so he don't have to talk to us.
No, but about the black cat thing, I'm going to tell a story real quick, and it'll probably be time to go. But they were saying that back with one of the plagues, they always associated the reason why witches weren't getting sick or something was because they had cats that were able to keep certain insects or whatever away. but people who didn't have the cats were the ones that were getting the diseases and dying or something like that. So the
witches didn't get sick because they actually were all holistic and natural. They knew what they were doing.
They thought that the people with the cats were the witches because they were not getting sick. Anyway,
everybody's gonna beaver whack Nick. Beaver whack.
Nick don't know nothing about no beaver whack.
Nick, do you say jinx, owe me a Coke, or pinch poke, owe me a Coke? Or do you just say jinx? The plague was spread by rodents. Yep.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep. It was all based on lies. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. The only people not getting sick were the people that are holistic. And I'm not saying witches do things right, because not really, because I believe in Jesus.
Witches now?
I'm not supporting witchcraft. However, I am supporting the fact that the witches, if there really were witches then doing witchcraft things, they were probably more holistic, and they were probably doing things that were actually more medicinally pure. And that's probably why they weren't getting sick. It had nothing to do with their religious stuff. It was going to be the fact that
what I'm saying is they thought they were witches because they weren't getting sick, and the people who weren't getting sick had cats.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. The black cats were good mousers.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're hard to see.
Actually sped by fleas on rats, and the rats were but the rats Ratatouille said it was the fleas.
Yeah, there's a big discrepancy right now whose fault it really was, whether it was the rats or the fleas.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. Ring Around the Rosie is really a deathly little poem about the bubonic plague. Ashes to ashes. It is. Yep, is you now. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Creepy fact: I've watched Amy Allen in The Medium for TV for years, and Monday she started following on the IG, and it freaked me out because my IG is small. She started following you. That's weird, Carla. Weird. My friend did the arm thing, and a trucker honked and scared her father to death. And he was like, "Why is he honking at me?" My friend was dying laughing. My kids do like to do that when we're driving, and I always tell them they have to let me know before they do it, because then they're like, doo, doo. And it's really good, because sometimes the truckers are really sweet about it, and they're like smiling and waving at them too. And then other times, and they're like, they don't look past it. But I find that more than not, the truckers were very kind and would respond to my children's pleading and begging for them to honk their horn. So yeah. So
all right. Well, look, we are up at the 2-hour mark.
Yes,
we had a wonderful. Did you have a good night?
I did. It was a really good night.
It was a good
Everything
night.
kept going, and people were talking, and Homemade Haven was awesome. They were so amazing. Wait, you don't say none of them things. You say sheep, sheep, sheep. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Sheep, sheep, sheep.
It's an Arizona thing.
Well, anyway, we really appreciate it. Thank you for coming in, by the way, Nick. Thank you. Follow Living a Rogue Life and freak her out, Ed. Yes, go follow Living a Rogue Life. A lot of trucks now have regular horns. I know, kind of stinks. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming in. It was such a good night. You guys were all in here and hanging out with us, and we appreciate you every week coming in. We're hoping to have some more fun guests in here soon. We are looking for other people to come in and be a part of our lives. So stay tuned, because we've got some more great people in the lineup soon. So thank you guys so much for coming. We will see you all next week.
Who enjoys having good friends, good conversation, and talking about pigs?
Farmers' wives do.
And farmers do too.
I love pigs.
Until next week, everybody have a great weekend.
Bye, guys. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Oh my goodness, we're almost through. Beaver